go through, we're going to look at the odd numbers here, okay? All these odd ones. And I'm going to leave the even ones up to you guys. So first one we got, the square root of 75. Now, I'm looking for the largest perfect square factor. A quick way for you to do that is look at the different perfect squares that we got here and see which one of these is the largest that can divide into 75. So let's look. Oh, sorry, that's not my calculator. There you go. All right, so we got 75. Can 75 be divided by 64? Nah, that's a little too much. Let's try a lower one. Can it be divided by 49? Nope, because that's also going to give us a decimal. So we want something smaller than that. How about 36? Also no. All right, let's go down one more. 25. Okay, so we see that the square root of 75 can be divided by this 25 here, giving us 3. So that means that 25 times 3 gives us 75. So that's our first step here. We're going to take the largest perfect square that we have, and we're going to break this up as a product of these two. So let's type out this first part here. We got 25, and we got 3. Now that I got 25 and 3 right here, what I'm going to do is the same thing I did before. I'm going to separate them both into their own separate radicals. Now that I got this, I'm just going to go through. Actually, let me make this a little smaller so it's all in the same place. So for this, we now take the square root of 25. The square root of 25, we know, is 5. And I leave that 3 inside of the radical because I cannot go through and do anything with that. Sorry about that. So we got that process here yields us this. We got this 5 times the square root of 3. And as always, we can go through and check it by running it in the calculator. So the square root of 75 is this. And 5 times the square root of 3 gives us that same decimal. So we're good. All right, next one. We see the square root of 36. Now, we already know the square root of 36 is 6. So that means that we don't even have to go through that deep in finding out all these parts because this already gives us an answer. So I'm going to just erase this. The square root of 36 is 6. Now, this process is built for us to really just deal with non-perfect squares. You could technically go through and do this with perfect squares, but it'll give you the same answer you would normally do. So, don't reinvent the wheel with that. All right, let's look at another one we got here. This time we got the square root of 80. This time we're going to go through it. We're going to divide a couple things in there to see which ones can give us 80. So, I think a good place for us to start with is probably around here, because I know that 49 is a little over half of 80, so that's not going to divide in there evenly. So let's try 36. This is what I normally do. I just kind of go from the top to the bottom, see which one of these end up working for us. So 80 divided by 36, that's close but no cigar. So let's go try another one. 25, closer, but still not good enough. All right, let's try 16. Okay, 16 works. So we got 16 and 5. So I know 5 times 16 gives us that 80 we want. So what we're going to do in this next parenthesis here, I'm going to replace 16 and 5 into this. So we got 16 times 5 here. Now that we got that, let's go through, let's deal with this next part. I'm going to separate 16 from 5 in this next group of numbers. And then I take the square root of what I can take the square root of, and I leave what I can't. So in this case, I can take the square root of 16, which is 4. And I can take the square root of 5. Sorry, I can't take the square root of 5, so I leave it by itself. So 4 times the square root of 5 is the simplified version of the square root of 80. And as always, go through and check. Okay, I'm going to check this next one right here, 80. And 4 times the square root of 5. Same decimal, no problem. We coolin'. There we go, bam. I'm going to just bold that quickly. All right, let's look at a couple more. Now, you've seen so far that the process does, in fact, work. So, let's just make sure that we get this process down pat with this, okay? All right, first one, we see we got 8. This is actually a little simpler because we know stuff that automatically divides into 8. There's not that many factors. So we got 1 and 8, and we got 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are obviously going to be the group that we're going to pick. So let's put 4 here, and let's put 2 here. All right, now I'm going to separate them. So I'm going to put 4 here and 2 here on this side. So if that's the case, what I got here, 2 and 4, I take the square root of 4, which is 2, and I leave 2 inside of the radical for the other part of our group, which gives us this answer right here, 2 times the square root of 2. Cool. All right, now we got 3 more. All right, so let's go through. Let's take a look at these. Next one, 32. We actually just did that above. I just wanted to test you to see if you remember. So remember, this is 16, and this is 2. And I know I got to separate this into 16 and 2, which leads me to 4 and 2 being here in our answers. Pretty simple. And I always do this because I want to check to see if any of y'all paying attention to it. But same thing that we see for number 7. So let's see, 4, 2, square root of 4 times the square root of 2, and finally 2 times the square root of 2. All right, so we chilling, no problems. All right, last one for us, 13. 13, we got to go through and see what perfect square fits into 125. One of these that we already know should be 25. So let's try this out. So if I take 125, I know that I can divide that by 25, giving us 5. So that's a good way where we can start this right here. All right. So we got 25 here, and we're going to put 5 right on there. So we got this all set up. That's cool. So over here, we're going to put 25 in its own square root and 5 in the other. Square root of 25 is 5, and since I can't take the square root of 5, I will leave that where it is, giving us 5 times the square root of 5. So yeah, pretty simple once we get into it. The more practice we get with this process, the easier it will be. Now, I'm recording these for you guys because this week's a little hectic. I think we have a shortened day both today and on Friday, so I want to make sure that you guys still get your full instruction that you guys would normally get from me. So, you got half of this work done here. You guys got these other ones here to practice along with your work on Khan Academy. Take your time. Make sure that you guys check your answers. So use your calculator. Check it out. I'm going to catch you guys on the next lesson. Catch you on the flippity flip. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Peace.